Hi everyone, I'm Dan Monroe. I'm here at the Rocky River Public Library where recently some major renovations took place inside. I'm going to go in and talk to the director, John Lonsek, and see all the great stuff they have going on.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Hi John.
Hey Dan, how are you? Nice to see you again.
John,
Welcome to Rocky River Library.
Thank you so much. It is a beautiful new library, but with all things they have to have a beginning.
Okay.
Who are we looking at over here?
I can tell you that. Well, we're getting way back to the beginning. This lady over here is Mrs. Macbeth, and she was the person that donated the land that the library sits on, probably back in 1925-26. The library was built in 1928. We've been here over 75 years. The gentleman you see here on my left is Leonard Schlother. He was a Rocky River resident who owned the Schlother Brewery Company, which is in Cleveland, on the land where currently Great Lakes Brewery sits. Leonard lived off Worcester Road, passed away in 1918, and his second wife, Sophia, who lived till 1956, donated a lot of artwork that we're going to see as we go through the library.
Well, I know we have a lot of good stuff to look at today.
Yes, we do.
You went through a 10-month renovation. We want to see all of it. So where would you like to start?
Well, we're going to start with some of the Schlother treasures, and our two biggest and most famous rooms are our reference room and our grand reading room, right up the steps here.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Now, what do we have in this room?
This is our part of the original building. It's our business and legal reference. This fireplace that you see here is an original. It was put into the building in 1928. This used to be our teen room in the old building, but now it's sort of a quiet area where people could do business reference, look up stocks, etc.
I like how you have a mixture of the new with the old
we do.
from 1920.
Right.
This is very nice.
And a lot of the art that you see in here and we're going to look at now is part of the Schlother estate, and we've blended that nicely with the old and new also.
Should we move on?
Okay, sure. Let's go. Okay.
So John, tell me about some of this artwork I'm seeing up on the walls.
Okay, much of this artwork is from the Schlother estate, but not this piece here. This is an original which was painted during the WPA period in the Depression in the early 1930s. It's the mouth of the Rocky River where it empties into Lake Erie, and it looks much the same down there today as it did back in the 30s. Yes, it is, and we're very proud of that. It was vandalized in the 1950s. Somebody cut it, and we sent it to Washington and had it repaired, and they forgot to send it back, and we had to get a U.S. Senator to help us return the piece of art. It used to be downstairs, but now it's proudly hung right in here.
As I look at these paintings, I'm drawn down to the books, and I see their position in a specific type of way.
Yes, that's deliberate, okay? The books are actually marketed, and a lot of that is Kitty and our librarians over there, to get people to see the covers. They're more attractive than seeing a book set like that with a bunch of other books next to it. This way they can look at the book as in a bookstore. The book is marketed, they could pick what's attractive to them, they could read about the book, and they could take it out. And it's done an awful lot to increase our circulation. As you can see, we've done that all over, both in this room and in the grand reading room too.
Hey, what's this room up here, John?
That's currently the staff lounge, but there's some very interesting history there, and we'll talk about that a little later.
Okay, all right. Wow. So this is the great reading room, and boy, does it look great.
Well, it is. It's very great, and this is one of the things we promised the voters of Rocky River that we would do when we passed the levy back in late 2003. This room, first of all, houses a number of pieces of art that were from the Schlother collection, which I talked about before. All these scenes have to do with the property he owned in Germany and where he was born, and these were all willed to us back in 1954. The painting that you see over here on my right is a current Rocky River resident named Mary Lou Ferbert, and she did that painting. This table that we're looking at here is made of crotch mahogany, and it was also from Leonard Schlother's estate on Worcester Road, but it was made and constructed and shipped here from Germany. One of the things we talked about with the voters was making a living room look out of this, which it certainly does. It has the Cowan pottery, which our curator will tell you about shortly, but mainly we promise everybody a living room, lounge, kind of elegant lounge look.
The living room look was great, but I still wanted a little more info on the wonderful Cowan pottery collection.
Cowan pottery is the only American art pottery that was produced right here in the Cleveland area, and best of all, it was produced right here in Rocky River from about 1920 until 1931. So that's not very long, but during that period, over 175,000 pieces were created by the Cowan Pottery Studio, and they were sold from coast to coast throughout the country in about 1,100 outlets. And included amongst those outlets were famous department stores such as Halley's, Wanamaker's, Marshall Field, and Sterling and Welch. Some examples in this case, which is devoted to the works of Guy Cowan. The vase on the lower shelf is his famous Logan vase, which won a Logan Award at the Chicago Institute of Art in 1925. And many variations of this design were produced in different glazes and lusters. Also throughout this case are many what we call flower frog figurines. And a flower frog is a florist term, and that was a decorative piece that was used to hold flowers in an artful arrangement. And Cowan created the dancing figures, and the dancing figure in the center is actually a study piece that he created when he was experimenting with creating garden sculpture. Victor Schreckengas produced one of his signature pieces, and which is certainly the centerpiece of our collection, and that is the Jazz Bowl. And this was created in about 1930 at the behest of a housewife in New York. This is the way Victor got the request, and of course later it turned out to be none other than Eleanor Roosevelt, who wanted the punch bowl to celebrate her husband's second inauguration as governor of New York. She later ordered two more, one for Hyde Park and one for the White House, because she was convinced that he was on his way, and indeed he was. Now, the Jazz Bowl that we have is not, one of those three Jazz Bowls, but it's one of the original 50 that were created.
All right. Well, where are we going to next?
We're going to head up to the children's room, which was another area we promised to enlarge to the voters, and you've got to see it to believe it.
All right, I want to believe it. Let's
All
go.
right. We're just going to head up this way.
Okay, so come through this archway, what are we going to see?
All right, we're now up into the renovated children's area, which again, the voters wanted this, and it's bigger, better, and has more books and materials. Plus it has a couple of Rocky River icons, the first of which is the clock tower, which is a representation of the original one on Lake Road right here in Rocky River. This particular area at one time housed the Cowan Pottery, which is now downstairs. It's very small. That area back here was our Hauser room, which actually is a meeting room. My office, old office, was back there. It's now a story hour room. This is all the audio-visual material for children's, but the biggest portion of this is our new story hour room, which is over here. If you'd like to see that, we could take a walk in there.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we looking at here, John?
We're now in our new story hour room. We're actually above the lobby where you came in. This is the only area, this is in the lobby, where we actually did a little addition to the building. Everything was internal renovation. This room, and we have a room next door that's a little smaller, but it's big, can hold about 100 children, maybe 125. And it's wired with all the latest technology, such as a smart board, which you see over here. The smart board operates off of a computer through the monitor, and then the program is registered right on that screen. It could be a sing-along, it could be a video, it could be a DVD. The kids usually are sitting on the floor, and the librarian leads them through the program. And the librarian can actually work the smart board and the computer right on the board itself. She can press the icons, so it's amazing. It really is.
My, how times have changed.
Yes, absolutely. And the window, the big window, is actually our logo on our stationery.
Okay.
It's a new window. We used to have one right here where the building ended. It was a much smaller logo, but now we have that. When the shades are up, it's a beautiful view, no matter what the weather is.
All right.
So this is a pretty special place for the kids.
Certainly is. Yeah. Okay, so what are you going to show me next?
We're going to go into the children's room proper, and we'll show you what we did in enlarging it another quarter size of what it used to be.
All right, let's go.
Okay, we'll head over there. Thank you.
John, a lot of interesting carpet designs here. What are we looking at?
Okay, we have several things going here. This area with the blue and the lily pads is actually the Rocky River.
Really?
And the area that you're standing on around here is the shoreline. And the Rocky River goes up the steps into the children's room, bears left, and goes through the whole area right into a model of this library. As we progress through, I'll show that to you.
Okay, well, let's go. But I have to warn you, I'm not a really good swimmer.
Oh, you can walk right through the water.
Hey, look at that.
Okay?
Wow.
Well, this is it. This is the enlarged, renovated children's room, and it has a number of really stunning features. Number one, when you came in, you've seen the new story hour room where we're standing. This used to be the old story hour room. It was encased in glass, and it had curtains, and it was dark, even with the natural light coming in. Now you saw what we have in its place. And what we have here, we have these little games on the side of all the bookends. We have new computers for children with chairs that have little logos of things that kids like boats and teddy bears, etc. The Rocky River, as you can see, starts going through with the shoreline. We had a storage problem in here for years, so what our architect has done is built these wonderful cabinets with boats on them, again, to depict Lake Erie and Rocky River. And we have plenty of storage now. If we come through this area, we have a workstation for children if they're crayoning or doing games. We have the small chairs. This one's an owl, which things that appeal to children. That one has a fish. And then we come into the center of our children's area. And here again we have several things. Rocky River was big when trains were big in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. So we have this train that the children could sit on, play on. We have the PlayStation train over here, which everybody could work on. Notice the chairs, the beanbag chairs, the comfortable chairs, and the corner chairs. The grandparents' chairs, we call them. They're in each corner. And then the clouds depict the time of day. And again, our logo, the picture windows. The Rocky River comes right into the library. This is a miniature of this particular building. And as you can see, it's very busy. The kids can go and play in here. They're in it all day.
John, it seems like in developing this library, you thought of everything.
It was actually just not me primarily. It was my team and Fran Homa and her children's librarians that work up here. But essentially the architect. He's very child-oriented and has kids of his own, and he really had a vision of how this would look, and we love it. Out that window, too, you can see our garden, which is in memory of Lucille Shaw, who was one of the founders of our women's committee. And the garden, the floor plan of the garden from up here looks like the window, so it's like our logo also. And we're real proud of that, too. If you would continue through, it actually goes from very early childhood to almost preteen. So the materials correspond to the age limits as you go through. And the back of it is mostly books that appeal to the preteen years. Here we have another computer station. We have several along the windows. The architect, as you can see, is fond of slatboard. We have slatboard in a lot of areas of this library where you could hang things on, market books, put pictures, whatever. So it's really been enhanced from what it was. There wasn't a lot of wall space. There was high shelving, a lot of tall shelving in the middle that went through, and we've opened it all up.
Well, John, let's. I'm not going to keep you off the hook about that one special room we talked about.
Oh, okay.
I want to hear more about that. So what do you say we head on downstairs?
All right, we can do that.
More, okay,
Sure.
Here we go.
Great.
Okay, John, the RRPL room. What's the story behind it?
Okay, that was the office of the first librarian when this library was built in 1928. Her name was Catherine Wilder. She was here from 1928 through 1967. Okay, there are rumors and some facts that some of the staff say that her ghost still haunts these rooms.
Her ghost?
Yes, that she appears mostly at night. There's been mysterious happenings, doors slamming, doors unlocking, things found on the floor, noises that the night custodian hears. But I don't think anybody's actually seen her. But supposedly she's here watching over everybody. She's a good ghost.
Good ghost.
It's not an evil kind of thing. It's rather happy. But supposedly that's where she lives during the day. That is now a staff lounge, but nobody has seen her up there.
Well, I'm sure she's happy with the new renovations. Maybe, hopefully she's not camera shy. Are you there?
Hi, Catherine.
All right. Maybe she is a little camera shy. Okay, John, we're now down here in the lower level.
Okay.
I see some computers.
Yes, these are our two newest sections of the library. They were done in the current renovation. The first is our computer lab, and this is a place where people can come in as long as the library is open and access terminals, do their email, look at Hotmail, whatever. It's staffed with somebody 12 hours a day, as much as we're open. The monitors can get you fresh paper, they can do paper jams, they can work with the computer, they can monitor what's being watched, so we're not doing anything harmful to juveniles. It's very busy. It used to be upstairs, and the librarians, in addition to doing reference, had to care for the computer center. Now it's down here, so it leaves the librarians up there to do solid reference work, so it works well for everybody.
And this is open to anyone who wants to come in the library?
Yes, anybody that wants to come in can come down here and use them.
Very good. Okay.
On this side, we have the training center. We have a full schedule of classes. They're practically all filled. The biggest joy of this is we went from 4 terminals in a tiny closet up to 14 terminals, and we're able to accommodate many more people, and with 3 trainers we can do many more classes. So this is a very, very popular area in both sides.
What do you say we head back upstairs?
All right, real good. We'll go this way.
Well, John, you have an amazing library here. Pretty good
Thank you.
staff too, I should say.
Oh yes, I feel the same way.
Say, if people at home are watching this, they want to get in touch with the library, see what's going on. Are you guys on the internet?
Yes, we are. rrpl.org, O-R-G. You can get to us right away. Plus, the website has all kinds of information, board meeting minutes, hours of opening programs, etc. We're also very proud of the fact, I don't know if you saw it, that we're one of the top 100 libraries in the nation, but we're also one of the top 10 in our population category, which is, I believe, 15,000 to 20,000 people, so we're in the top 10. In fact, Ohio libraries are wonderful. They're the top 10 of everything, but we're real proud that we're in one of the 100 top libraries in the country.
Well, after seeing a tour of this library, I certainly do believe it. It's a beautiful library. It's a beautiful asset to the city of Rocky River and its residents.
Absolutely.
John, thanks for having me.
All right, thank you,
Good to
Dan.
see ya.
Good seeing you.